These are the Rich Edition classics that we've done with Blue Byron Books. We have now reached 10 literary classics from human history. We put our own spin on them, rich editions. And we have them in the fabulous Bordeaux red, my favorite color. I don't know if you can tell, but I like Bordeaux, both the wine and the color. Very, very sophisticated. You know, I think it really is distinctive. It stands out. It pops. There's an elegance to it, but it feels pretty cool. We just released Dracula as our 10th book. This was such a cool project because it was the 10th one, and it felt like everything came together. Our process, our collaboration, just everybody really honing in on what we're doing, and it's been fabulous. This book is so gorgeous that we did. Really grateful, really grateful. Let me back up a little bit though. So how we got to do the Rich Edition classics is that I would see other publishers put out, different books, right? From Pride and Prejudice to Sherlock Holmes to Frankenstein, right? And I was like, well, why can't we do it? They're public domain books. And so I looked at the legality, the copyrights around it, and essentially with these public domain books, usually it's like 95 years after the publication or the death of the author, I think whatever comes first. Well, it'd be the publication then in that case. But legally, you cannot change the text, but you can change everything kind of around it. The fonts, add illustrations, add introduction, add annotations, cover design. Like, you can do a lot of accessory pieces with it. So what we do, say this is Frankenstein, what we like to accomplish is a cohesiveness so that you look at it and you just know it's a Rich Edition classic. We use Times New Roman. I'm very fond of Times New Roman, a serif font, classic, right? So all of our interiors are Times New Roman with the actual text of the story. And then the covers, we do the title, the author, the Rich Edition, and then we have like one simple symbol or image that kind of captures the vibe of the book. So Frankenstein, we have a lightning bolt, and it represents ambition, but also an energy and life. And also there's some stormy moments in the story. So we do that. On the back, we have in the interior design, at the bottoms, we create these bottom design elements that also kind of capture the vibe of the story. And so we put it right here and write the richest lines from Frankenstein. So when I read through it, I love just underlining lines that are just interesting to me. It's not about really anything in particular. It's just like things that kind of strike me. So in the back of the book, I'll comprise I'll put like all the rich lines, and then I'll select my favorites and they go on the back cover. So it's quite simple. We've made it just kind of plug and play now, where we know what we like and we just simply execute. The Great Gatsby. Let me go through these. Show you our work. And again, props to everybody who's been a part of this. Megan, Gemi, Natalia, Evelyn, like fantastic. Great Gatsby, this was our first one of my favorite books. Favorite classic, going first. The Picture of Dorian Gray. Pride and Prejudice was number 3. Classic. Well, they're all classic, I guess. As a Man Thinketh, number 4. Treasure Island, number 5, Robert Louis Stevenson. What do you know? Robert Louis Stevenson again. The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Creating these books, this was the most annoying thing, was this title. Because when I'm naming the files, it's so long. The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's just so long. And that was obnoxious to me when I was creating them. The Death of Ivan Ilyich, Tolstoy. This is just a fantastic story. Very like existential. It's about death and just, things that surround it. And it's nice too because it's a Tolstoy, but it's also quite short. So it's a quick read, but also very profound. The Time Machine, H.G. Wells, just incredible themes in here. Really interesting. I love what I've noticed in our selection, in our catalog, is a lot of like late 19th century. That's really like my wheelhouse of favorite books. And then we have Frankenstein is number 9 and Dracula number 10. So what we love doing inside too is creating wallpapers. So we change the fonts, and we whoever's the main designer on the project selects the fonts that we use up top and for the page numbers and the chapters, and we collaborate on wallpapers. Wallpapers are like my favorite thing. They really enhance the reading experience, and it really immerses someone in this kind of universe of this classic. The most memorable Rich Edition classic, I think, has been The Picture of Dorian Gray. I read this book, so this was early on in our process, and I would use other publishers. I don't know where the cover is, but I would use older versions and just read them and then highlight stuff like that. But I read that copy in Mexico City on a balcony in the sun in March, coming from the Midwest. It was just so glorious and so amazing, sipping some mezcal, just reading The Picture of Dorian Gray in Mexico City was amazing. I loved that experience. So it was really memorable for that. I wonder if I have, no, it's not around. The Great Gatsby, as the first one, it really took a lot of effort to really find what we were going for, because everything after this stems from what we did with The Great Gatsby. So the whole concept was erected for this book, and then we just kind of like get better and better and better. I think The Time Machine is one of the most unique that we have, like with our wallpapers and the fonts and the bottom design elements. It's just a little different. I'm partial towards nature inspired things, and nature is universal, and that's kind of the theme you find with the classics, is that the stories, the themes are more universal. So while it's written, say like Frankenstein was written in the early 19th century, 200 years later, we can still relate to it because it has those universal themes that we all experience with the human phenomenon. And it can feel very contemporary. And it's a little bit more, I don't want to say vague with the writing, they allow the imagination. They're not getting so specific where it would really date things, right? Like today, if you say, oh, then he looked at his iPhone 5. Well, right then that like narrows everything down, and I feel like it can become, if someone wrote that, just like disruptive for a reader, and it wouldn't flow as much. Whereas if you have timeless universal themes, people can just place themselves in it. So very proud of our first 10, and now it feels like we can scale, and we've really got our process down, and there's so much energy in continuing. Like I was expressing to the team just how much I just love our process. I just read classics all the time. And, you know, more and more, like instead of watching YouTube at night, nothing wrong with YouTube, of course, but if I can immerse myself in a timeless literary classic, like why not? And we put out a book of it. Like I just want to keep enjoying myself reading these and putting out our versions of them. It's been very surprising, actually. Very surprising. Of all the things we've been doing with Blue Byron Books, especially the 10th one, while we were working on Dracula, it really just struck me how much I enjoy this, and I want to continue doing it. Whereas before then, I was just kind of like, you know, we're putting out, you know, one a month, so we're just kind of executing, going about it, and then taking a step back, reflecting a little more. It's like, oh wow, this is a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing this. Let's keep it going. So those are the rich additions so far. The Great Gatsby, The Picture of Dorian Gray, Pride and Prejudice, As a Man Thinketh, Treasure Island, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, The Death of Ivan Illich, The Time Machine, Frankenstein, and Dracula. Did I forget any in there? I don't think so. It's been truly a treasure, and cheers to more.